So to start with, please tell me, in what ways does Moldova use data for its development policy?
I think in my ministry we try to, because we deal with poverty, exclusion, and marginalization, I think one important focus is to find those most vulnerable in the communities, in the society. Because when we look at the data, poverty is persistent within specific groups. We cannot get, for instance, child poverty down. And we try to use data and make better use of this data to make sure that our increasing budget and policies interventions are most effective. I highlighted during the panel discussion a new program that we've developed to deal with increasing price of energy. We had a compensation scheme for households, and it was a targeted one. And the idea was to find, again, households with low budget and clarify how much within that budget they spend on energy, and so for the government to compensate this. And it was a very difficult endeavor because it meant that both citizens had to share private data, companies, energy suppliers had to provide data to us, but also we had to share data within the government department. So we had to get data on social protection, data on properties, to cross-check and make sure that the income that citizens stated in our system is true. And again, we make sure that the resources that we put into this program go foremost for those most vulnerable, meaning the poor households. We've done this within quite a short time, but it was a crisis and everybody mobilized. So the question now is...
I'm guessing this was in response to the energy crisis.
Yes.
Due to the war in Ukraine.
Yes. The price of energy increased eightfold in Moldova. Right. And we have a poverty rate of 24%. With high inflation, high energy prices, the share of poor household would increase dramatically. So we had to deal with this issue in a very short amount of time. We put the system together within 4 months. And the question for me as a minister is, can we do this on a normal basis? Can we translate this experience with other social programs that we have or for social services? So we're about to find out. We're trying to now in the process to do a kind of an evaluation on impact assessment. What are the lessons for me as a minister, lessons for departments within my ministry, Ministry of Finance and so forth.
So how does a conference like this help you in figuring all this out and improving the data that you use for your programs?
I think there's a lot of data that we don't use as policymakers. I think we need to be more aware of immense capacity and opportunities that we can leverage. I think more ministers need to be aware of the support that they can receive from UN agencies like UNDP or UNICEF and other agencies within the UN family. I think, I've been to several sessions where I've learned quite a new things. I always try to benchmark my ministry to others, and I think within some instances we're doing quite okay. With others, I think there's a lot of space to learn and share experiences. So for me, I think it's a good opportunity to learn from others, to network, and get ideas. For some, I think in Moldova we don't leverage as much private sector data. I think we need to, as a government, we need to have a better and more structured approach on how we can engage with private sector, so we can leverage the data they have. I think again we have just a few instances where maybe during the pandemic crisis we used data on mobility but I think we can use this data integrated in our programs on road safety or on health initiatives, any behavioral changes, employment and so forth.
So if I get you correctly, oftentimes it's not about having more data, it's about using the data we already have in a smart way.
Yeah, I think to me it all comes down to political will. I think the ball is in the policymakers' court in a way. It's up to them. I think more and more data is available. In the year of 2023, you cannot say I don't have the data. Of course, I would like to have more data. I would have to have more timely data, but you cannot say I don't have data. And there's no excuse not to use data anymore. And in Moldova, we reached a share of GDP about for social protection of 15%. So we spend on social protection 15% of our GDP. In 2019, we had 11%. So just in 3 years, we increased our spending by 4%. Moldova is a rapidly aging population. We will have more and more social spending needs, and we cannot go on as it were, right? So we need to be more efficient. We need to target our programs. We need to have more value for money, and we need to have more performance. And for that, we need to make sure that all of our programs are hyper effective, based on data. We rigorously evaluate them. Other ways will come a point we'll have just to cut them, and when we cut social protection programs, you cut support from those most vulnerable, and I cannot allow it as a minister. So I have no choice but to use data to improve the programs that we implement.
To reach those most in need.
Yes.